Meanwhile, back in Bloomington. Okay, Theo and me, working on our third styrofoam cup of tea. Theo doesn't offer similar stories. He said he couldn't talk about things like that, not to others. He couldn't relive it. But it became clear we shared a lot of traits. I'd say the two of us were more process-oriented than goal-oriented. He loved imagining test designs, trying to operationalize hypotheses, writing up papers, or prepping for orals, for that matter. He kept putting them off. For me, it was finding sources. I was a great grad assistant. I loved spending hours on LexisNexis, but I flunked out of 2 programs for, incompletes. We still there, guys? I hope so. Theo felt he learned all the best stuff out of school. I totally yes-anded him. I said, I've never learned well from another human being. I'd rather steal from their example when they're not watching or invent something for myself. Theo brought up self-paced computer-assisted education. I didn't feel like I was competing with teachers anymore, which blew my mind. I never thought why there was always that sense of friction when I worked with a teacher or a mentor or guitar instructor. There is something, maybe not competition, maybe status or power or something else I didn't get. So maybe I'm a freak example, just a guy who couldn't make the American education system work for him a long, long time ago, a generation far, far away. But then there's that universal chord, those startling autistic similarities across generations, across nations, intersections. So I'm going to end this part of the tale with a snapshot of what education could be for an autistic child, no matter what their tested capabilities. If we can just find a way to tap into their autistic joy and their passions without doing damage. Okay, we're getting towards the last imaginary title screen, Orgasmic Learning. This is the middle, the good stuff. What the fuck was that? Okay, so I'm in 4th grade, still in Catholic parochial school. Never said any such thing back then. But it's a precise transcription into adultese of what I felt. I get excited. I wave my arms. I start bouncing on my butt up and down on the sofa in front of the coffee table. I'm breathing hard. I'm gasping. I shudder and I moan. A weird, high, pleasure, pain moan. My head snaps back. My eyes close. Like good sex that first time. A flash of bright white light. My eyes jerk open, but I can't see anything through blinding fog. Slowly, the room fades back into focus. That's the day, the exact moment. Autistic as fuck, .me, got addicted to learning. I mean, a hardcore, dope sick, sell your dog to get well, learning junkie. Because after 2 hours alone, frustrated, pulling my hair out and staring at the follicles, anxiety, trying to wrap my grade school brain around binary numbers, it suddenly snapped into focus. We're going to talk autistic joy again. Like some autistic characteristics, it's a lot like what many humans experience already, amplified and turned just 5 degrees toward different. All kids love learning new things, at least the ones that interest them. But there's something unique about the joy many autists feel learning. And I don't mean school learning. I mean, exploration on your own, teaching yourself. If you've ever known an autistic child or an adult, for sure you've witnessed it. A kid jumping up and down, waving his arms, repeating the same phrase over and over, giggling in a library, knowing he must be quiet. But he just found a new book on Gigantoraptor filled with detailed illustrations. And they got the feathers right. He's gonna explode. Junior high was full of names for this. Nerdgasm, spaz out, geeking out, being a dweeb. I have no idea what they call them now, 50 years later, but that's what we used then. Let me tell you about my most intense buzz. It was just after my 10th birthday, 1963. I pestered my parents for weeks for one present, a Digicomp 1. It was a real, functioning binary computer made from plastic that you cranked, by hand. I had to have one. See, Boy's Life, the Cub Scout magazine, carried a full-page ad on this mechanical computer. And I always thought arithmetic was just stupid memorization. Don't get me wrong, I tried hard to conquer every task they handed me. I always did. I was driven to be a good boy, to please parents and teachers. But I've never been able to fight my nature, no matter how good my intentions. I fight my nature always wins. Zero interest equals zero effort throughout my life, like a lot of autists. Anyway, we just begun base 8 arithmetic in school. All the rage for a year or two, like all the other 17 incarnations of new math since then. Because programming, the career of the future. And everybody knew modern computers thought in base 8, which they did for a few years. Maybe I was a bright kid, but I could simply not make the switch to base 8 from base 10, except through grinding memorization. And I had hated multiplication tables. Mindless, until I realized I could play tricks, sneak up on answers easier and faster. Say 9 times 7. It's really just 10 times 7 minus 1 7. So it's not 70, it's really 63. If I could make a game of something, like doing squares in my head, it was fun. Learning from a teacher? Not so much. But I could not think my way out of making this switch from counting 1 to 10 to counting 1 to 8. Total block for weeks. So Digicomp was my Hail Mary pass. I'd get the computer, program it, then polish off my homework without suffering. Get parents and teachers off my back. More time for growing my paramecia in pond scum, or squeezing maximum altitude out of my pump action water rockets. Cool stuff. So here I am, sitting in front of my last hope, my own real computer that I put together on the coffee table. But it actually takes work to understand and program the thing, even if it did come in a game box. More work than base 8 was in the first place. Throbbing headache, taut nausea. I start beating my temples with my fists. These numbers. I can't believe this. I'm way smarter than this. The other kids are getting it, and I'm way smarter than they are. I'm alone in the house. I let out this guttural scream. Aimed right at the instruction, okay? I'm looking at 4 sets of 1. It felt personal, like someone was doing this to me on purpose. I'm looking at 4 sets of 1s and 0s. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1, 1. The 1 means 1. Okay, I got that. But add 1 plus 1, you get 10, which really means 2. The 100 means 4. 111 means 7. And somehow this relates to base 8 and is going to do my homework for me. Then a curious thing. I sneak up on the 10 and remember the old carry the 1 routine. So I take 1. It won't fit. And so I take 1, and if I add 1, that's what I'm trying to say to you, it won't fit in the first column. So you got to carry the 1 into the second column. And the second column, now a 10, is really a 2, I guess 10, on bizarro binary world. So 11 would really be the secret identity of 3. Whammo. The light bulb goes off like a firecracker in the back of my head. I have to show you the illustration. Next day, I ate arithmetic alive. I've talked with other autists, sometimes similar stories, less intense maybe. But that internal craving for learning something new, part of pretty much every autist I've ever met so far. And in many ways, as exotic as it may sound, it's what every human experiences, just amplified and twisted about 5 degrees into the weird. We are hardwired for joy, autistic or not. Every good thing you do, eating, sleeping, shitting, making babies, helping an old lady across the street, solving problems, and learning something that's useful to you, comes with a little shot of joy juice, nature's reward for a job well done. You know what I mean. That rush you feel when the right jigsaw puzzle piece jumps right out at you after you search for an hour. That time you guessed the right spelling word and won, or eliminated the last false suspect in Clue, solved those cool logic problems on the SATs. Hell, for me, any multiple choice test, IQs, the Ways, GEDs, every question, one bingo after another, high on dopamine, orgasmic. So maybe I never experienced that moment of learning again with such clarity and ecstasy. But each and every time, there's that faint echo, like chasing the ghosts of your first monster roller coaster or your first kiss. The excited squeals, the flapping hands, the jumping up and down. That's ecstasy. Look, not every autist experiences this pleasure the same way. But imagine that kind of intensity, that kind of joy, earnest. There are times I think there's nothing we autists can't do.